Good morning. So if you haven't been keeping up with me, then you may not know that I got hurt while studying abroad. And so today I thought it'd be a great opportunity to talk about healthcare, insurance, and what to do if you are a PhD student who is living in another country and happens to experience a severe injury. So I hope you enjoyed today's day in the life of a PhD student dealing with an injury while studying abroad. Today is actually the first day of my physical therapy since my injury. And generally the goals over the next couple of weeks is just to improve my range of motion, hopefully get it to where I can possibly be weight bearing, and also develop some strength within my legs. I think when this all started, something that I really had to consider or think about is just the logistics of everything. And to say the least, it's been a little nerve-wracking because it's one thing to have a really intense injury, which in and of itself can be a little intimidating, especially as a graduate student when you have deadlines. But also, I'm doing all of the communication in all of my appointments in another language. So it's been interesting. However, I am simultaneously learning a lot of medical vocabulary, which I genuinely hope I never will have to use again. But, you know, learning is learning. All right, we're gonna get ready to call the Uber and head to my physical therapy appointment. Y eso es para la información. Ok.
¿Dónde está?
No, está bien. Está bien. Ok.
Good options, or much options at that grocery store where I'll be getting the ice from.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll leave that.
Trash in there. Okay, we're back home. I'm about to get something to eat and eat with Eric. But something else I think is important to say is when I first got hurt, I was really concerned about like the logistics of it. And I know I said that already, but really thinking about like, what doctor do I go to? Who's gonna pay? How is it gonna get paid? How much is it? How does that all work? And what I have come to find out after the surgery, setting up all of my doctor's appointment and my physical therapy, is that really it's pretty straightforward and it would work very similarly to how it happens in the US. Though I will say it is important to make sure that you are opted into your insurance as a graduate student, and you usually can check that either in like your student portal, or even like if you check your tuition and fees, a lot of your healthcare prices or costs will be listed in your tuition and fees, and that'll let you know that you have it. And then from there, before you go abroad, I would highly encourage you to talk to your insurance or your healthcare provider that is like at the school, so like your healthcare center, to see how they prefer you to approach dealing with injuries. Because of course nobody plans on getting hurt, but when you're in the hospital about to go into surgery, the last thing you want to worry about is like, how am I going to pay this, or who's going to pay it? And so I think it's really important to have that conversation with somebody before you head out, so you can just have a mental idea or a mental note of what the expectations are. Another thing that I think is super important is before you even step foot on a plane to enter into another country is to work out a backup plan. That's because most of the time, God forbid, we don't want this to happen, but I got hurt. And the immediate questions that I had after I came out of surgery is like, what do I do if I can't walk for 4 months? I can't go into my small little town that isn't wheelchair accessible. And then I can't do my research. Like, how will my dissertation look different? What will happen next? Like, what happens if I just can't do it? And so instead of having those thoughts after you're, trying to heal, after you have your surgery, after your major injury or your life, changing concern, you can already have an idea of what the expectations are. And so it could be something you devise on your own, but I also would suggest that you talk about this with your advisor. So there's also like just a level of like stress that's removed, because now the person who kind of makes decisions over your life or your chair is involved and understands what the backup plan is. So when something happens, or if something happens, you can just let them know, hey, I'm going to the backup plan, and everything will be okay. So that's just something else that I think is really important that I wish I would have thought about before I left, but luckily, again, I have a really supportive committee and advisors, and so it's easier for me as a graduate student to feel empowered to make decisions that are good for me and right for me, but it may not be that case for everybody. So having a backup plan, talking about that backup plan with the people who make decisions about your research or about your graduation progress, I think is a really important stress reliever to help you make sure you're progressing without taking a toll on you mentally, emotionally, and even possibly physically. Now, if you want to know more about how I got hurt and everything that led up to where I'm at now, then I would head to this video next. It's my Q&A, which will give you a lot of information about my research, my time in Brazil, but also what happened to my leg. If you enjoyed this vlog, please hit a like, and I really hope to see you next week. Thank you so much for watching.